theme for Mandela Day 2022 is do what you can with what you have where you are. To take this discussion further, then we are joined via Zoom by Dhianaraj Chetty, who is the Manager for Monitoring and Evaluation at the National Education Collaboration Trust. Dhianaraj, thank you so very much for joining us here on SABC News, sir.
Afternoon, Flo, and afternoon to our listeners and viewers. It's great to be with you.
Great to have you.
Thank you for the invitation.
As an organization that deals with the promotion of reading, in your experience, would you say that South Africa is a reading nation? But we also talk about illiteracy, and maybe we can then start to talk about if things are bad when it comes to illiteracy, how bad are they?
Flo, this is a huge challenge. We are not enough of a reading nation, and that's our difficulty at the moment. There were some horrifying data that came out a little while ago that pointed to major problems that we have in getting learners to read by the age of 9 or 10. And particularly to get them to read for meaning, which is the standard that we aspire to by that age. And that's not just in English or Afrikaans; it's in all our languages. And that's the challenge that we're really working to make a dent in. Basically, that's what we are up against. I want to recognize that this is an initiative that is bigger than just the NECT and the Department of Basic Education. It also includes partners like Room to Read, Nalibali, the South African National Library, and a consortium called Bridge. So there's a whole range of partners involved, and that's just at the national level. But at community level, we've got, again, a whole, we take very seriously our partnerships at community level with parents, with schools, and with organizations like the Evangelical Presbyterian Church, the Catholic Church, and a number of other organizations that are helping us do the work at community level where it's needed most.
Yeah,
I want to.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have here. You've thought about mother tongue and mother tongue storytelling. Talk to us about this particular program, where of course you do talk about your partnerships with the Department of Basic Education and of course the National Education Collaboration Trust. I understand that. Talk to us about how you got to the point of understanding there needs to be a push to also talk about mother tongue and to encourage people to read even in their mother tongues.
Yeah, this is a priority for the Department of Basic Education. It's something that the minister has repeated, repeated wherever she goes about the absolute necessity to get our kids to be reading in their home language, get them to read in mother tongue, and read as much as possible and read every possible source of material that they can get their hands on. And to that end, we have worked on putting together 21 titles, which are in all 9 languages. Yeah, all 9 indigenous languages, and those are being made available through this initiative. And it's going to be going to foundation phase, about 20,000 foundation phase kids across the country. Those are kids in grades 1 to 3. It's going to be going also to churches, about 15 churches that we're partnering with across a number of provinces. For the moment, the initial push will be to get these resources into Mpumalanga, Limpopo, the Eastern Cape, and Northwest, but it will go national. Yep, yeah. It will go national once it kicks into high gear. Some of our viewers and listeners may be aware that there's a large-scale presidential youth employment initiative, which places young people in schools with a specific responsibility to promote reading. Now, we have about 15,000 of those young people across the country. And they're doing a great job. They've been trained and are being supported to promote reading to early grade learners. In other words, particularly kids in the foundation phase and intermediate phase. Those reading champions, as we call them, will also be doing their bit to make sure that our kids get access to reading in indigenous languages. Lastly, we also work through another platform which is called the Virtual Reading Club. For those folks who live in urban areas, book clubs are something that they take for granted. We want that to be a reality everywhere in the country. It's a way of promoting reading, it's a way of promoting books, and it's a way of strengthening our literary culture. The reading club happens every Thursday, last Thursday of every month. It's at the moment got a few hundred members. It costs nothing to join it. You just click on the Zoom link and you're in. And this month we'll be focusing again, particularly on work on literature in our indigenous languages. So I just want to ask, the point across. This Mandela Month,
you talk about access, and that's actually where I wanted to go. You're mentioning some of the provinces, areas that you'd be reaching. When things are done, and I suppose in Nelson Mandela's name, while today we are celebrating and commemorating Nelson Mandela Day, I always believe that rural areas should also be looked at and given some sort of special attention. And that's the question that I have for you when we're talking about access. Are you then able to access those far-flung areas that I would assume Nelson Mandela would have been quite passionate about?
Sure. The theme for Mandela Day this year is really, to me, it really resonates. It's about do what you can with what you have and where you are. It's not about outlandish ideas of waiting for some magic to happen. Use what you have where you are and do what you can. These materials will go primarily to rural communities. That's the focus of the work that we have. The focus of the work that we do in the Reading Coalition, and the titles are there's no ownership of the titles, which makes them easily available to everybody. They can be downloaded, they're free, and the books, we hope, will be shared at community level. The books are going to churches, they're going to go to parents, but we want to encourage that. We want to encourage our families across the country to be sharing these books. In the same way that we've, in communities for decades, one newspaper doesn't belong to one person. It belongs to a whole household. It belongs to whoever you share it with. The same with these books. Share the books, and particularly with families or households which don't have access to books on a regular basis.
All right. Dhianaraj, we appreciate your time. Thank you so very much for joining us here on SABC News, sir.